I apologize for not reading this morning. I had candy I had to finish because my daughter was taking me out to lunch. And quite honestly, I am not feeling very well. My throat hurts really bad for some reason. It kept me up most of the night. I kept waking up because it hurt to swallow. So I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we are reading now. So we're going to continue our daily reading out of the book of Psalms from the Old Covenant, commonly called the Old Testament, an English translation of the Septuagint from 1808 by Charles Thomson. Chapter 50, it is written, "The God of gods, the Lord hath spoken, and summoned the earth from the rising to the setting of the sun. Out of Zion, the perfection of his comeliness. God in full manifestation, even our God will come and will not keep silence. Before him a fire shall blaze, and around him shall be a mighty tempest. He will call to the heaven above and to the earth to judge his people. Gather his saints together to him, them who are in covenant with him touching sacrifices, and let the heavens declare his righteousness. Because God is judge. Hear, O my people, and I will speak to thee, O Israel, and I will testify to thee. I am God, thy God, I am. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices, and as for thy whole burnt offerings, which are continually before me, I will not take young bulls from thy house, nor he-goats from thy folds. For all the beasts of the forest are mine, the cattle on the mountains and the beeves. I claim all the birds of the air, and to me belong the ripe fruits of the field. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine and the fullness thereof. Do I eat the flesh of bulls, or do I drink the blood of goats? Sacrifice to God a sacrifice of praise, and pay thy vows to the Most High. Then call on me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt praise me. But to the sinner God said, Why dost thou mention my judgments, or take my covenant in thy mouth? As for thee, thou hast hated instruction, and cast my words behind thy back. When thou sawest the thief, thou didst run with him, and hast been a partaker with adulterers. Thy mouth hath abounded in wickedness, and thy tongue hath framed deceit. Sitting down, thou hast spoken against thy brother and against thy mother's son, propagated falsehood. These things thou hast done, and I was silent. Thou unjustly didst suppose that I would be let me do it again. Thou unjustly didst suppose that I would be like thyself. I will reprove thee and set things in order before thee. Now then consider this, ye who forget God, lest he tear you in pieces and there be none to deliver. The sacrifice of praise will glorify me, and this is the way in which I will show him the salvation of God. Chapter 51, for the conclusion, a psalm of David, when Nathan, the prophet, came to him after he had gone to Beersheba. And this right here is my favorite, I think. Well, it's got my favorite verse of the whole Bible, which is verse 10. My favorite psalm, though, would have to be 119, and it's the longest. So here we go. Have mercy upon me, O God, according to thy great compassion, and according to the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out this my crime. Wash me thoroughly from this iniquity of mine, and purify me from this my sin. For I acknowledge my transgression, and my sin is continually before me. Against thee especially I have sinned, and in thy sight done this evil, so that thou must be justified in thine acts, and must overcome when thou art judged. For behold, I was born in iniquity. In sins my mother conceived me. For behold, thou lovest truth. To me thou hadst manifested the obscure and hidden things of thy wisdom. Sprinkle me with hyssop, and I shall be purified. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Cause me to hear joy and gladness. Let the bones which have been humbled rejoice. Turn away thy face from my sins and blot out all mine iniquities. My favorite verse. Create in me, O God, a pure heart, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of thy salvation, and support me with a becoming spirit, that I may teach transgressors thy ways, and sinners may turn to thee. Deliver me from blood guiltiness, O God, the God of my salvation, that my tongue may with joy proclaim thy forgiving mercy. O Lord, open my lips, that my mouth may proclaim thy praise. Hadst thou desired sacrifice, I would have given it, and whole burnt offerings thou would not take delight. The sacrifice for God is a contrite spirit, a broken and a humble heart. Thou, O God, will not despise. Deal favorably, O Lord, in thy good pleasure with Sion, and let the walls of Jerusalem be builded. Then wilt thou be pleased with the sacrifice of righteousness as an offering, and on thine altar young bulls shall then be offered up as whole burnt offerings. Chapter 52, for the conclusion on understanding by David, when Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul and said to him, David went to Amalek's house. Why boastest thou in mischief, O mighty man of iniquity? All the day long he devised injustice. Thy tongue is like a sharp razor. Thou hast practiced deceit. Thou hast loved evil more than good, lying more than speaking the truth. Thou hast loved all the decrees of destruction, a tongue practiced in deceit. For this cause God will utterly destroy thee, tear thee up, and hurl thee from thy dwelling, even thy rooted stock out of the land of the living. The righteous will see indeed and be afraid, and they will laugh at him and say, Behold the man who made not God his strength, and trusted in the abundance of his wealth, and strengthened himself in his vanity. As for me, I shall be like a fruitful olive tree in the house of God. I have trusted in the mercy of God for this age and for the age of the ages. I will praise thee for this age because thou hast made it, and wait for thy name because it is good in the sight of thy saints. Chapter 53, for the conclusion upon Melath of understanding by David. The fool said in his heart, There is no God. They have corrupted themselves and are become abominable by iniquities. There is none who doeth good. God looked down from heaven on the children of men to see if any had understanding or were seeking God. They had all turned aside. They are altogether become vile. There is none doing good, no, not one. They will not bethink themselves. They are all working iniquity. They are eating up my people as they do bread. They have not called upon God. They were seized with terror on the spot where there was no fear, because God had scattered the bones of men pleasers. They were put to shame because God despised them. Oh, that he would for Zion's sake grant safety to Israel. When the Lord hath brought back the captivity of his people, Jacob will rejoice and Israel will be glad. Chapter 54, for the conclusion among the hymns of understanding by David, when the Ziphites came and said to Saul, Behold, is not David hid among us? Save me, O God, by thy name, and judge me by thy power. O God, hearken to my prayer. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen up against me, and men of power have sought my life. They have not set God before them. Behold, God is my helper. The Lord is the protector of my life. He will turn these evils on mine enemies, destroy them in thy truth. With free will offerings I will sacrifice to thee. I will praise thy name, O Lord, for it is good, because thou hast delivered me from all affliction, and among mine enemies mine eye hath looked on. 55. For the conclusion, among the hymns on understanding by David. Give ear, O God, to my prayer, and overlook not my supplication. Attend to me and hear me. I have mourned in my meditation and am troubled because of the voice of an enemy and because of the oppression of a sinner. Because upon me they cast iniquity and boiled with malice against me. My heart within me was troubled, and the terror of death fell upon me. Fear and trembling came against me, and a dark gloom overwhelmed me, so that I said, Oh, that I had wings like those of a dove, that I might fly away and be at rest. Behold, I had removed far away as a fugitive, and taken up my lodging in the wilderness. I waited for him who delivereth me from distress and a furious tempest. Confound, O Lord, and divide their tongues, for I saw iniquity and contradiction in the city. Day and night shall transgression go round it on its walls, and trouble be in the midst of it, and injustice. Usury and fraud have not departed from its streets. Had an enemy reproached me, I could have borne it. And had the man who hated me magnified himself against me, I could have hid myself from him. But thou, O man, my second self, my guide, mine intimate friend, who being with me didst sweeten my repast. In the house of God we walked in unanimity. Let death come upon them. Let them go down alive to the mansion of the dead, because there was wickedness in their dwellings in the midst of them. As for me, I cried to God, and the Lord heard me. Evening and morning and at noon I will declare and proclaim, and he will hearken to my voice. He will deliver my soul in peace from them who come near me, because they among many were with me. God, who existeth before the ages, will hear and afflict them. Who existed, not existeth. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. God, who existeth before the ages, will hear and afflict them. For there is no redemption for them. They indeed did not fear God. He hath stretched forth his hand with retribution. They profaned and broke his covenant. They were scattered by the indignation of his countenance. When his heart was near, his words were smoother than oil. Now they are daggers. Cast thy care on the Lord, and he will sustain thee. He will never suffer the righteous to be shaken. But thou, O God, wilt drag them down to the pit of destruction. Bloody and deceitful men shall not live half their days. But as for me, I will trust in thee, O Lord. Chapter 56. For the conclusion, for a people far removed from the holies, by David, for a monumental inscription when the Philistines had him in their power at Gath. Pity me, O God, for a man hath trodden me down. Fighting all the day long, he hath afflicted me. Mine enemies have trodden me down the whole day, with the day in their favor, because they have fought against me are many. Let them be confounded. Let me trust in thee. To God let me commend my words. In God I have trusted all the day long. I will not fear what flesh can do to me. All the day long they spurned my words. All their thoughts were against me for mischief. Some are to dwell near and hide themselves. Some are to watch my footsteps. As I have suffered this for my life, thou wilt on no account save them. In thine indignation, thou wilt cast down peoples. O God, to thee I have unfolded my life. Thou hast placed my tears before thee. According to thy promise, mine enemies shall turn back. On the day when I invoke thee, behold, I know that thou art my God. For God, let me approve the decree. For the Lord, let me approve the word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what man can do to me. On me, O God, are the vows of thy praise, which I will pay, because thou hast delivered my soul from death and my feet from falling, that I may worship acceptably before thee in the light of the living. Chapter 57. For the conclusion, destroy not, by David, for a monumental inscription when he fled to the cave from the presence of Saul. Be merciful to me, O God, be merciful to me. For in thee my soul hath trusted, and in the shadow of thy wings I will put my trust until this iniquity pass away. I will cry to God the Most High, to God who to me hath been kind. He sent from heaven and saved me. He delivered up to reproach them who were treading me down. God sent forth his mercy and his truth, and delivered my soul from the midst of lions. I laid me down to sleep, troubled as I was. As for the sons of men, their teeth are weapons and darts, and their tongue is a sharp sword. Be thou, O God, exalted above the heavens, and thy glory over all the earth. They had prepared snares for my feet, and had caused my soul to bow down. They dug a pit before me, but into it they themselves have fallen. My heart is prepared, O God, my heart is prepared. I will sing, and to vocal join instrumental music. Awake, my glory, awake, psaltery and kithera. I myself will awake early. I will praise thee, O Lord, among peoples, among nations. I will hymn thy praise. For thy mercy is magnified upon heaven, and thy truth up to the clouds. Be thou, O God, exalted above the heavens, and thy glory over all the earth. Chapter 58, for the conclusion, destroy not, by David, for a monumental inscription. Do you indeed speak righteousness? Do you judge uprightly, O sons of men? In heart, indeed, you are working iniquity in the land. Your hands are weaving injustice. From the womb, the wicked are in a state of alienation. They have gone astray from their birth. They spoke lies. They have venom like that of a serpent, like that of a deaf adder, which stoppeth its ears, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, nor to the charm administered by the wise. God hath broken their teeth in their mouth. The Lord hath broken the lions' grinders. They shall be despised like water passing by. He will bend his bow until they be weakened. Like melting wax, they shall be dissolved. A fire fell, and they saw not the sun. Before your bramble bush can make its prickles felt, it will devour you as it were alive, as with wrath. The righteous will rejoice when he seeth the punishment of the wicked. He will wash his hands in the blood of the sinner. And man will say, since there is indeed a reward for the righteous, there is a God who judgeth those on the earth. 59. For the conclusion, destroy not, by David, for a monumental inscription, when Saul sent and watched his house in order to put him to death. Deliver me, O God, from mine enemies, and redeem me from them who rise up against me. Deliver me from them who work iniquity, and save me from bloodthirsty men. For behold, they have hunted my life. The mighty are set against me. Though there is no transgression, no sin, O Lord, in me. Without transgression I ran and kept a straight course. Awake to meet me, and behold. Do thou, O Lord, the God of hosts, the God of Israel, attend to visit all the nations. Shew no mercy to any workers of iniquity. They are to return at evening and suffer hunger like a dog and go round the city. Behold, they are to speak oraclously with their mouth and have a sword in their lips. For who heard? But thou, O Lord, wilt laugh them to scorn. Thou canst set it not all the nations. My strength is with thee. I will keep watch, for thou, O God, art my supporter. My God will cause his mercies to go before me. My God will display it to me among mine enemies. Slay them not. Perhaps they may have forgotten thy law. Scatter them with thy power and bring them back, O Lord, my defender. Let them be but arrested in their pride, the destructions attendant on their oath and falsehood, and will show the sin of their mouth and word of their lips. Under destructive wrath they cannot subsist. Let them know that the God of Jacob ruleth over the ends of the earth. They are to return at evening and suffer hunger like a dog and go round the city. Let them disperse that they may eat. And if they are not satisfied, let them murmur. But I will sing of thy power, and in the morning exult in thy mercy, because thou wast my supporter and my refuge in the day of my affliction. Thou art my helper. To thee, O my God, I will sing. Thou art my supporter, my God, my comfort. And that ends our reading in the book of Psalms for today. I greatly appreciate prayers for my throat. I just don't feel well, brothers and sisters. It will go away, I'm sure, but for right now, I don't feel good. So anyway, keep your eyes on Jesus, brothers and sisters, and your nose in the book, which is the Word of God. And let us embed the Word of God in the tablets of our hearts, so you and I will not sin against God or be deceived. I'm telling you what, this book of Psalms and Proverbs, and soon it will be Ecclesiastes. These are things we really, really need to embed deep within, because these are wisdom. These are wisdom. I love you all so very much. Bye-bye.